the world of content creating should be always thought about as and I notice that everybody's into or.
So many times we're doing the right stuff, we're just doing way too little of it.
This exact formula is how we came up with all our business videos, okay? Every one of them.
They have a pain point that they want to solve, and they have a desired result that they want to achieve. And your content is what's going to bridge that gap.
Trying to think up content, I became the content. So you guys, I don't know what you do, but you need to be the content.
You see, the creator who understands the viewer best wins. And I can't overemphasize this point. To the degree that you understand who you're trying to reach is to the degree that you will start to stand out and get attention.
And each reel I do is always that same framework. Hook, value. You just think it's a TikTok. Like you're watching it. You don't even know you're watching an ad. And that's the secret.
What would your life be like if you didn't care what other people thought? You have inside of you the ability to make an impact.
This was absolutely ridiculous. I dressed in my husband's suit. We had a green screen. We just put a background as a filter, and that was what ended up being produced. That does not come natural to me, but I let the market dictate the content.
I've said this publicly. I think that everyone should invest as much of the money that they have available to them after their living expenses into buying as much information and skills as possible. And that's because skills are the ultimate hedge against inflation. It doesn't matter whether we're trading Bitcoin or seashells. If you are valuable, people will pay you.
Hey, Sean Cannell here, #1 bestselling author of the book YouTube Secrets and founder of Think Media.
Hey, I'm Heather Torres, online business strategist and host of the Think Media podcast.
And we want to welcome you to this free video masterclass called 21 Video Tips, where you're going to be learning from some of the best and brightest entrepreneurs, creators, and small business owners leveraging video to get more views, build their following, and ultimately generate more profits and customers. And we're excited to dive into this. But if you're just meeting Heather and I, we actually run a company called Think Media, and we have a couple million YouTube subscribers. And our mission is to help purpose-driven people like you ultimately build their brands and businesses with video. And we do that through video training just like this. That's free, that can help you get results. We've got books, events, courses, programs, a lot of different ways for you to engage. And so we're excited to be on really this journey together, but we can't wait to dive into these tips. But first, really, why did we put this together, Heather?
Yeah, we hosted the best conference. And with that, we brought in some of the biggest minds in this space, in this online space, to understand how to grow your personal brand, how to get more customers and leads, how to really influence people through the power of video. And we understand that while you could probably find all of this on the internet, if you dig through blogs and you're watching hours of video, we wanted to bring the best knowledge to you in one place. Because I know that you're a busy person, and so you need it right now in one simple place.
Yeah, and one of the things that we've put together is actually a download to accompany this video series. So you can watch this entire masterclass, but also make sure to get the downloadable PDF where you can also see a summary of these 21 practical tips that you can implement immediately. And here's why this is a big deal. Because Forbes said video is the place we all need to be this year. In fact, new numbers just came out about YouTube that there's now 2.6 billion monthly active users on YouTube. You may be concerned about rising competition, but the good news is that there's also rising consumption, and there's never been a bigger demand for high value content, especially content created applying the tips that you are about to learn. And there was also a recent Influencer Marketing Hub article that actually revealed that in the creator economy, over 2 million creators now are earning 6 figures a year. So whether you're a business owner, whether you're a startup, a small business owner, an entrepreneur, you want to build your personal brand, or you're trying to figure out how to monetize a side hustle and earn extra income, you're going to love this information. And there's never been a better time to be going all in on video and all in the creator economy. But with that, let's get into tip number 1 of these 21 tips.
And tip number 1 is start with who. Start with who. Whose attention do you want? See, when there's 5 billion people on the internet, well, that's a lot of opportunity, so many people to reach. But if you try and reach everybody, you end up reaching nobody. But actually, the more specific you get and the more clear you are on who exactly you're trying to reach, the easier it is to get attention. If you just post and you just think, man, I'm God's gift to the world, man. This real? This is gonna bless the world. I'm gonna really bless the people with this. And you just post it randomly thinking it's gonna reach everybody, it's gonna fall on deaf ears, it's gonna reach nobody. But if you post a reel and you know, I want to reach millennial single moms interested in entrepreneurship through Etsy, things just got a lot more interesting because of how specific your who has become. You see, the creator who understands the viewer best wins. This is actually a quote from me, which is a weird thing to say because obviously I just said it. But all I did was I stole it from some business guru. And the sentence is, the business owner who understands their target customer best wins. It's the same thing. That to the degree, and I can't overemphasize this point, to the degree that you understand who you're trying to reach is to the degree that you will start to stand out and get attention. So you got to answer these questions. When you understand the person you're trying to reach, what keeps them up at night? Like, write this down. Like, who are you trying to reach? But like, what are they worried about at night? What are they talking about at the dinner table? This is real. What language do they use? The reason why the competitor that you're looking at, why are they growing, is they might understand the target audience better, the viewer better, the customer better, and so it's resonating, but you're not communicating right because you're not speaking to people's fears or pain points or where that specific target audience is. The creator who understands the viewer best wins.
Now, here's a bonus tip. Let's say you're someone that's like, well, Vanessa, I really want to create videos on topics that are very competitive. So how do I stand out? 2 tips that really helped me get my first 100K subscribers. Number 1, add the year to the title to increase the relevance. Because even if there is a YouTuber out there that has more views, more subscribers than you, the fact that you added how to do this in 2021 or in 2022 or whatever else, people are gonna be more inclined to clicking your video because it's more relevant. Number 2, add a differentiation point. Can you actually get someone the result faster without a certain pain point, or can it be niched down to a specific sub-segment? So instead of creating a video about how to meal prep, I'm gonna do a video about how to meal prep for busy vegan moms. That might get more clicks than a general video. Second one, let's say you're a gamer, you wanna do videos about gaming. Call of Duty Warzone, very, very saturated on YouTube. What I would do is I would say Call of Duty Warzone, tips and tricks for beginners, a specific subsegment in 2022, relevant for this year, and to make it even more clear, I'll put it in parentheses, updated. So they know, click my video, it's better than everyone else's, it's relevant. Third one, how to wake up early in the morning. Very, very popular topic, but I'll say without an alarm, to make it even more better and juicier than all the other titles that they might be stumbling upon. This is how you might be able to stand out as a beginner, and this is how I did it when I started.
So this is one way. How many guys do an actual podcast? How many actually do a podcast? Okay. Podcast system is simple, but you got to stay consistent. You don't do one this weekend and you do the next one 7 weeks from now. You do it every week for it to work. So podcast, we do an episode with Jordan Peterson, gets 774,000 views. That's great. But then we do short clips that goes on other channels. This is a 2-hour interview, but we got 15 short clips out of it. The 15 short clips got 9.1 million views. Itself, the interview only got 774. The short clips got 9.1 combined, 9.9 million. At this point, it's over 10 million views. So that is a system. You do a long form, you hit up different topics, you cut them in different short clips. And by the way, this is just YouTube views. This is not TikTok. This is not Jordan Peterson putting on clips that he puts on Twitter all the time. This is not Instagram or Facebook. You put everything together, it's about 35 million views. I'm purely giving you YouTube data. And what does this pay? I don't know, $70,000, $60,000. Some of you guys know the numbers better than I do on what this pays. That's what the AdSense pays with YouTube. Now, some of you are saying, well, Pat, how long is it going to take me to get there? It's going to take a minute. We started in 2013. It's 2022. This is not like a 1-year game plan you're going on. This is a 10-year run that you're making a commitment to. This is not a 1-year commitment. If you're trying to hope that you get lucky and a video goes viral, we didn't get any luck for 3.5 years. Nothing happened for 3.5 years. Then boom, something took off.
The quick hack is when I want to acquire a skill, I pay whatever is required to get the skill. And so I remember when I needed to learn Facebook ads, and this is like 2013. And I didn't know how to do it. And I didn't want to buy a course. I wanted someone to teach me how to run it for my specific business. And so I reached out to a guy who had a course. And he's like, well, I don't sell my time. And I was like, it's America. I was like, everyone sells their time. I was like, just say a number. You know what I mean? Like, you sell your time. You made the time for the course. Anyways. So he's like, I mean, it would have to be like $750 an hour. And I was like, okay. And so, and I didn't have that much money. Like, I really, like, this was not like when I had a ton of money. It was a lot to me. And so every week, he would show up for an hour and we would try and run ads for my business. And I would be like, don't click anything. Tell me why you turn this off, or what you would do, and why you're like, give me the thinking process behind it. And then by 8 weeks, which was 8 hours, I learned how to run Facebook ads. And so it ended up costing me whatever 750 times 8 is, so $5,600 or whatever. And it was such a better ROI for me than anything else. And so I feel like we've done that a lot of times, which is like, how can I pay to get access to someone, even if it's unreasonable? Because I believe that I would get enough leverage to have a personalized solution for me, and it was worth the 10 times the cost or 100 times compared to like a Udemy course for that thing. And so that's kind of like the hack. From a larger perspective, I think that a lot of people look for, like what Layla said, the silver bullet, when I think it's much more of a directional question, which is, do I think that this will get me closer to my goal than what I'm currently doing? And so I think if we think in those terms of, am I getting closer, am I getting further, then this is kind of what I was alluding to earlier about, like, you don't have the perspective from which to make the judgment on, is this person going to be the one that I'm missing, right? You make the best bet you can. And so if, let's say you need to get here, you might go this way and then like this way and this way. But as long as you're directionally funneling towards that point, your vision, your wisdom, your ability to perceive and make judgments will improve as you gain more insight from the education and experience that you're going through. And so I've said this publicly, I think that everyone should invest as much of the money that they have available to them after their living expenses into buying as much information and skills as possible until your income is so overwhelming that you cannot spend it trying to get more information. And that's because, like, skills are the ultimate hedge against inflation. Like, it doesn't matter whether we're trading Bitcoin or seashells, like, if you are valuable, people will pay you.
All right, step 2 is you need to optimize your bio. So I'm gonna take you through a quick example of what people do wrong. So this is pretend. All right, so this gal, these are all fake, but so this gal, she lists the name of her business, which is not needed in her bio. She's apparently a makeup artist, but look at the photo. We need your mug. We need your face. And if you're using your logo, make sure it looks good on Instagram. Make sure it works in that space. I'm sure the graphic artist, doesn't it drive you guys crazy when you see people using logos that were not meant for that space? Yeah, so zoom in on your face. That's first. Okay, so she says she's a makeup artist, but then you go and look at her page like, what? Huh? Okay, so the first thing we have to do is we have to change this photo. So let's zoom in on her face. And let's cut out the background. If, you know, it makes you pop off a little bit easier. Canva, right? I mean, there's other free apps you can use to do this. So simple, 2 seconds. You can do it while you're sitting here. Next, this is the only area of Instagram that is search engine optimized. What does that mean? It means if I type in the search query on Instagram, quick makeup tips, this is the only area Instagram searches. And you know what most people put right there? Their name again. And no one's searching for you. I hate to break the news to you, but they don't know you. So why are you wasting that search engine space? Put in, and don't put like something clever, because people aren't searching for something clever. People are searching for something that they search for, simple. They're searching for like the tool. So what would people search for that are looking for the thing that you have? What would they be searching for? Put that there, okay? Then, if she wants to attract people, and this is another big mistake that people make in their bios, they make it a resume. They say like, New York Times, listen, I'm guilty. New York Times best-selling author, I helped, I've earned such and such amount of money. It's a resume. But do you care? No, you know what we want to know today? We used to care. We don't now. 2022, you don't think we care about it? What do you post? Just tell me what you freaking post. Tell me what I should expect, right? So she says, lead with that. I post 5-minute makeup tutorials. Now we're getting niched. So a makeup artist, or if you say you're a makeup artist, that's not a niche. That's an industry. That's an industry. A niche is I do natural makeup tutorials for moms over 40. That's a niche. Helping women look like they have it all together in 5 minutes or less. She's got a great call to action, right? She's got a link in there. I love a good link tree, or whatever you want to use there. And then a bunch of emojis, which I hate. So let's get rid of those. All right, so there it is. Take a quick screenshot of that. You're going to change that little area where your name is to your search engine optimized term? Say yes. Yes, good. All right, awesome. All right, there's her username, her picture, her niche, her statement, her link, call to action, title, credibility.
What's one thing that I can do to improve next time? The video's already done. You better post that video that you sat down and shot with. But asking this question lends you to do this, and this is what we always encourage people to do, to get 1% better with every video. That leaves open opportunity for whatever it is you want to get better in. Oh man, my energy was a little low on that one. I'm going to bring it up next time. 1% better. Oh dang, it sounds like the audio's a little bit quiet. I'll bring the mic a little bit closer to my mouth. 1% better. You want to be able to ask this question so that you can increase. And sometimes it's even in the edit. It's like, oh, you can't even read that text that I put on the video, and I want people to read the text. I'm going to change it up in the next video. Asking the question, what's one thing I can improve next time, is so, so key. Over the course of creating content on Think Media and really pressing record for now over 2 years, I was the guy behind the scenes. I was legit the guy like making everybody look good. And one day I felt like God actually called me like, hey, you're going to step in front of the camera and you're going to teach this and make it simple for people to understand, because you speak the language people are looking to speak. And so I really want to encourage you to step into this and really see yourself as a content creator. You're not going to be the content creator you're supposed to be right now. When you look back on the videos that I did in 2020, I had a mushroom haircut. I was like, what was I doing in 2020? I grew my beard like super long and looking like, I don't want to offend anybody, it's 2022. But I was like, man, I can get better. And as you do it, you get better. And this is what I found. I found that there's only one way to actually get better. Omar, how do I get better? You can only get better by doing. You can only get better by doing. Nothing replaces repetition. Repetition will get you better. Repetition will get you in the flow. And then before you know it, it's just going to be a natural thing for you to create videos. You know, people are like, hey, Omar, I'm going to turn on the camera and have you do something. I'm like, all right, let's go, turn it on. And it's because I put in the reps. But you can't replace repetition. You gotta put in the reps. You gotta hit record. You gotta show up.
All right, so let's get into some keys to a good vlog. The first thing is showing and telling. All right. A lot of times people only do this part. They'll talk and show themselves, and they'll just talk to the camera, and we don't see anything else. So you can't do that. And then a lot of times people will just show what they see. So they'll walk around and they'll just show whatever it is that they see. You have to combine showing and telling. It's a great technique. So that way you are making sure your audience is reinforced with what is going on. Using transitional phrases like, all right, I finished up my breakfast. Now it's time to go to the office and get some work done. So that's showing and telling a transition at the same time. So make sure you incorporate both, all right? The second thing is shot variety. So this kind of goes with showing and telling, but just in a little more depth. So if I showed myself walking onto this stage, I'll probably get a shot of my feet, walking or running or whatever I did. I'll get a shot of you guys. I may sit the camera down in the corner. And sometimes, y'all, when you vlogging, you got to redo that thing. So you might have to go back and be, hey, what's up? You know, even though you already did it one time or two times or however many times. So that's the thing about vlogging is you have to commit to the angles, because if you don't have angles, if you don't have variety in shots, it is going to be so boring. It's going to be boring to edit. It's going to be boring to watch. And having that variety, once you go to edit, some of the best vlogs you see, y'all, trust me, everybody's not that interesting. But when you can make yourself look interesting, when you can make your life look interesting, and that can be paired with, a few different types of shots with some popping music to cut the vlog to. So make sure you have a variety of shots. All right, balance of raw and polished. And y'all, don't let me forget my camera up here, okay? Balance of raw and polished. Now, this is where I think small business owners have the advantage, is that a lot of times we don't have the equipment, unless you follow Think Media. We don't have the equipment to make our vlogs super polished. We don't have all the top of the line everything. So sometimes it might look a little rugged, and that's okay. It's okay to have a little bit of movement in your shots. They don't all have to be super buttery. That's what makes the vlog have feel, okay? But the thing is, a lot of people are polarizing, so they'll have a lot of corporations that I see try to vlog, like their vlogs look too polished. It looks like a production, like overproduced. And then a lot of people who have no experience, their vlogs look too raw. And I'm just like, child, I don't know what you're saying. I can't understand the audio. I can't see it. It's fuzzy. So you want to have a good balance, making sure everything is clear. The audio is clear. I mean, y'all know this stuff. But just making sure that it's polished enough, but also has some of that rawness as well. Okay? And then a clear storyline. This is by far the biggest mistake that most people make, is that you just vlog and you're just meandering through your day. And that is what you don't want to do. You have to tell a story with each piece of content. So the beginning should set the scene. It should set the intention or the goal. And that's what I was doing with the top 3. I didn't realize that I was kind of having a formula, but you need to let the people know what the content is about to fold out as, okay? Not necessarily how it's gonna fold out, but you need to let them know a goal. And then the middle is kind of you executing on that goal, and then the end is wrapping it up, okay? So there needs to be some sort of storyline, beginning, middle, end.
Backstage, you said something. You said that short form is a gateway to long form. So what would your strategy be for that? If you're making TikToks, you're getting the short form reach. Is long form substance in your opinion? And does that mean send people off platform? Does that mean try to get TikTok to get your account to 10 minutes, which is super interesting, longer form vertical video? What do you mean by short form as a gateway to long form, and what would the tactics be in that?
It means that a lot of long form creators don't focus on short form and vice versa. There's a reason I have 1-hour keynote videos and 1-hour podcasts, but also pound unlimited micro content that's 10 seconds long. You can go very tactical, and a lot of people want to hear that. They're like, should I make a TikTok that says watch the rest on YouTube? It's less about that. People will find you. They become intrigued. Your URL strategy on all your social networks should be very thoughtful. I'm constantly changing them based on whatever my objectives are. But it just means that the world of content creating should be always thought about as and I notice that everybody's into or. Right? People are insecure. Most of you did not start on TikTok fast enough because you didn't have followers on it. You didn't start on TikTok fast enough because you had 80,000 followers on Instagram and you had 0 on TikTok, and you didn't like that feeling. That's why celebrities lost the first time around. So like the things that you made fun of people for on Instagram, you became on TikTok. And so I think it's always and. Everyone's in or. They're like, Gary, I'm already on Instagram. They love using like logical excuses like, Gary, I need to focus. I'm like, cool. Knock yourself out. I'll talk to you in 36 months when you're crying. You're focusing on losing. The lack of humility and the lack of interest in putting in the work on a new thing because you just figured out the last thing is why most people don't grow. There's not an accident that I've been winning on every platform for the last 15 years. It's called humility and hard work. You think I was pumped when I had 1 million followers on Twitter and Instagram came along? I was pissed. I'm like, I'm fucking winning this bird game. But I'm like, fuck, everyone's gonna go there, so I need to go. You think I was pumped when TikTok came along? I was dominating the gram. I was like, that's where it's gonna be. So the lack of humility and the lack of like, I don't want to learn this new thing, I just got this, that's fine. There's a problem though. What you want has nothing to do with what the market is doing. The market doesn't give a shit about your feelings. The market's not like, oh, Tyrone spent a lot of time on fucking Instagram. We should not create TikTok. You think God's thinking like that? Get the fuck out of here.
We need to be testing our old videos, updating the thumbnails and titles on our old videos. If you have any kind of catalog of videos in your YouTube account right now, the single greatest opportunity is to be split testing the thumbnails and titles. We're so focused on what's next, and we don't do enough testing of what has come. Right now, we launch one main video every day on my main channel, and we have an internal goal to split test 100 videos every day from our back catalog. 100 new split tests on thumbnails every day. Now, I'm crazy. Nobody does that, right? I've got 4 people on my team, and they're just dedicated to doing that completely. But the single biggest opportunity, if you have any size channel with content on it, the biggest opportunity for Gary Vee, for Sean, for Alex Hormozi, for Vanessa Lau, for Pat Flynn, for Evan Carmichael is to split test your old content. This is an example. When I was doing this, I told YouTube, it's like, dude, this is crazy. Can we do a case study on you? And so they wrote this up as a case study on me for split testing. We took a video here. This video was done in 2016. We split tested it, changed the thumbnail in 2020. Now, first off, this video in 2020 was still getting me 100 views a day. A 4-year-old video was still getting me views, 100 views a day. Now, that's not insane, but you're not getting that on any other platform, right? Nobody cares about your Instagram, your TikTok, your Twitter, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your anything from a week ago, let alone 4 years ago. So if you're trying to build a brand that lasts, YouTube has to be the game for you. So this video was doing 100 views a day. All we did was split test the thumbnail. We changed the thumbnail around, and bang, it pops to up to 15,000 views a day. On a 4-year-old video that I did nothing else to. Change the thumbnail, 15,000 views a day. At the time when they finished this case study, it added an extra 900,000 views to the channel. Just this one video by updating the thumbnail.
To quote the famous philosopher Drake, we started from the bottom, and now we are here. Now, some of your community members will become superfans just kind of automatically, which is beautiful, right? When people feel connected, they want to be even more connected. However, there's one thing that I would recommend to do to nudge people right at the top, and that is to create memorable moments by surprise. The by surprise part is the most important part, right? If you say goodnight to your spouse every night, good night, honey, I love you, good night, honey, I love you, good night, honey, I love you, every night, it doesn't become less special, but it kind of does because it's just expected, right? Except there's that one time she doesn't say it back and you're like, are you mad at me? But she fell asleep early. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. It's the by surprise. It's you going into her office at 3:48 p.m. on a random Tuesday with a box of chocolates just because. That's what gets talked about. That's what gets remembered. And we can offer those kinds of moments in our brands and business too. My favorite way to do this is something called the what's up. Just a super informal, casual, personalized, unexpected message. And literally, you could take your phone, find a person who recently commented on one of your posts on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, send them a direct message with a video, and just say, hey, John, thank you so much for your comment on the latest post. I just want to say thanks for following. I appreciate you. Every Friday, I go on a 60-minute walk, and I have my dogs in one hand and my phone in the other, and I'm just doing that for 60 minutes. I can get through 90 to 120 people, and it has a 90% response rate. People reply, and they're blown away. Some things in our business don't need to be scalable. But when you make time and you create boundaries around these opportunities to really connect with your audience, it literally can blow their mind, and they will become fans even more. In fact, they will share that moment, they will remember that moment. And I had a couple people come up to me yesterday saying, Pat, I remember when you replied to my email, because it's unexpected.
Hey, I hope you are getting massive value out of those first 10 tips. We have some amazing ones coming up in just a second, but we wanted to let you know that if you are liking this, we're just scratching the surface of an amazing course that we have for you called the Video Success Secrets course.
Yeah, obviously we wanted to get some incredible information into your hands for free and pack as much value in here. But literally, we had 3 days where we gathered some of the people you're learning from and even more, and they downloaded their best strategies. But it wasn't just random information. We really architected the content, and that's why it's called our Video Success Secrets course, is because people really methodically taught through all the different pieces of starting a YouTube channel, growing a YouTube channel, sales on social media, TikTok, Instagram. And so if you want to check out some details about this, just click the button below this video or on this page, and it'll take you over to a page where you'll see information about everything that you're going to get. And here's the truth. People paid as much as $5,000 to not just be a part of the first 2 days of Video Success Secrets, but also a third business and mastermind day where leaders broke down their strategies for not just scaling with video, but how to scale their businesses, tax strategies, a deep dive fireside chat with Alex and Layla Hermosi talking about content, talking about leadership, talking about building a team. And this is all bundled together in what's called Video Success Secrets. So click the button just to learn more about it, but I'm excited to jump into the next tip. So here we go.
At the end of the day, man, I always wanted to be a movie star and famous, but then I ended up helping everybody else build their brands. And for 20 years, I just was in the background. Nobody knew who I was, but everybody knew who my clients were. And I got a little bit of sunshine and spotlight from these people while they were doing that. And all of a sudden, my social media started growing a little bit. So now I got a little bit of followers, and I started to think like everybody else, what kind of content can I make? So I started to think, what should I say? What do people need to hear? Who's going to think I'm smart? What can I do? And I tried that, the people with like the poses like this and they just got a photo like this, and it's got some cool saying that usually ain't even theirs. And they're posting that and so was I. And I'm sitting there trying to figure out what I could put out there to make you think I'm smart or good or whatever the case was. And keep in mind, I'm running real brick and mortar businesses, employees, the whole 9 yards. I got 30,000 square feet. I got studios. I got all kinds of shit going on. I'm a businessman. I'm not a freaking content creator. But I kept watching Grant, and I kept watching all these people turn that into serious money, or serious attention, I should say. The attention becomes money. And so I thought, well, okay, I'll start doing it. So about 4 years ago, I said, I'll start posting. For the first year, nothing really, a couple thousand followers, like maybe in a year. I'm like, this is stupid. I don't know what's going on. So I'm running the business, and I had this camera guy that I hired, and his name was Sebastian. And he was very organized and anal, I would say, even better than organized. Anal. If I said 4 o'clock, dude, it better be 4 o'clock. So I'm running a business. I'm on the phone. This guy's coming in. I got heat from a customer. I got heat from employees. I got all this shit I'm dealing with. And he kept popping in. Brad, got to make content. And I'm like, dude, give me a minute. 5 minutes later, Brad, got to make content. How many people here make a lot of content? Is it time consuming? Dude, you can't, it's almost like pick one. Make content or run a fucking business. So I'm getting all frustrated and shit. And so he popped in one too many times and he said, Brad, got to make content. And I looked at him and I said, dude, turn the fucking camera on. I am the content. And I turned around and I kept doing what I doing, and I was just being a smart ass because my employees' culture would get me sued, but we have fun, right? It's not all corporate-y. So I was just busting his balls. But then I went back and I finished my call, and then another person called and I closed the deal, and an employee walked in and I talked to the employee. Then I freaking went out on the balcony and smoked a cigar, and someone else was asking me questions, and then I walked in and blah, 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 blah. And I forgot that he was filming me the whole entire time. And so at the end of the day, they take that footage, they put it on a drive, and then my creative team takes the footage, looks through it, and tries to make content out of it. And believe it or not, that's when the shit started blowing up. That's when I started getting thousands and thousands of followers and comments and engagement. And the reason why is because instead of trying to think up content, I became the content. So you guys, I don't know what you do, but you need to be the content. Now somebody says, well, what do you mean? Well, do you talk to your kids? Do you talk to customers? Do you flip houses? Are you a fucking expert of some kind? Don't you expert all day long somehow? Yeah, you got all these damn gurus with courses, but you would assume they know what the hell they're doing. Well, aren't they doing it all day? Coaching people, whatever you do, whoever you are. You want to film that shit. So now you don't need time. All those hands that went up when I said it's time consuming. Look how much time you get back when you are the content.
So 18 months ago, I started a YouTube channel. Some of you guys may have anybody seen this, the YouTube channel? Mosey Nation. Woo. And so I built 2 expensive studios to launch this thing. I started making 3 videos a week. Side note, important lesson that I learned on a vacation. That really shitty one did better than my really fancy one, which then taught me that what's inside the content matters more than the wrapper. So for anybody who's like worried about getting started, about making it look right, I don't think it matters. I mean, I think it matters a little bit, but it's 80-20, so focus on the 80. All right, and so I continued my very steady growth for that period of time, which is great. Recommend. But, you know, in the first 12 months, we went from 600 to 70,000 subscribers, which was cool. And so things were going smoothly until one day I had a chat with Grant Cardone about branding. And it reminded me that all the lessons that I'd learned in business applied to all this organic stuff. And so I was on this call with him, and I have the full video on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out. Yeah. He was like, bro, I'm not even going to try. He was like, bro, pull up your Instagram. And I was like, okay. He's like, pull up my Instagram. He's like, I got 10 times the content as you. 10 times. He's like, bro, it's volume, bro. Volume. And I was like, that's deep. And so I was like, you know, I should probably do more, which is a lesson that I have learned over and over and over again in business, and I'll tell you a couple more stories about it later. But like, so many times we're doing the right stuff. We're just doing way too little of it. Like, I'll tell you a quick story, which is not on this presentation, but when I started my first gym, I was told that I should put flyers out. And so I went, you know, I'm like really, you know, full of piss and vinegar. I was like, I'm going to go do it. So the business owner who told me was more successful than me, et cetera. And so I went, I put the flyers out, and then like nothing really happened. So I met back up with him a few weeks later, and he was like, hey, how'd the flyers work? And I was like, you know, I got one guy who called me and said I fucked up his car. That was it. He's like, well, what was your test size? I was like, I was like, well, I mean, I put 300 out. And he was like, dude, our test size is 5,000. He's like, that's what we test with. He's like, and then we do 5,000 a day. I was like, oh. Noted. And so it was just a really good lesson, and that happens with phone calls. Like, yeah, I'm gonna start doing cold calls. You make 10 calls every 3 days when you're feeling motivated, rather than doing 200 dials every day, like it's clockwork before lunch. You know what I mean? The level of effort difference is not like 2x or 4x. It's like 50x. It's a lot bigger, and most people dramatically underestimate the amount of volume and effort that is required to get to where you want to go.
Those who haven't started and have no social media, those who have some subscribers, those of you that already have a platform with 1 million subscribers, I'll show you what a couple things we did. Here's our formula on coming up with ideas. We sit, we ideate. Like today during lunch, Sean got an example of how we ideate. From ideate, we research. After we research, we adjust. Then we come up with the script and the content, and then there's a call to action. We put the video together. This exact formula is how we came up with all our business videos, okay? Every one of them. Did you hear how I said the single mother, the mother that's going to public school that doesn't want to go to public school, homeschooling? We came out with 7 episodes together, how quickly we said those 15 points. That's how we come up with that content, right? So now, this was our test. Step number 1 on testing. We came up with a content called 2 Minutes with Pat. I said I'm going to do 100 videos, 2 years, 1 video a week. We did 2 years, 1 video a week. Only 1 video was 2 minutes. Every other video was more than 2 minutes. 8 minutes, 9 minutes, 20 minutes. People would complain, you're lying. This is not 2 minutes with Pat. Okay, this is 8 minutes with Pat. Change the time up, right? Well, we tested. Then we got clear. We got a vision with valuetainment. And then it became a niche. Our niche was business and entrepreneurship, right? This was specific to what we did. And through these segments, then came a couple home runs that we hit. We got lucky. Nothing wrong with lucky. Then you got to take a few timeouts. We've taken 3 timeouts so far. One of them we took at 100,000 subscribers. One we took at 450. One we took at 2.9 million subscribers. And we're coming back to valuetainment, creating content next week. Every once in a while, you take a timeout. You come back and say, okay, what's our next move? Then you go to the next one. So test, step number 1, vision, identify a niche, get lucky, take a timeout, and repeat this process over and over again.
Here's why some of us will never go viral. Here's why some of us will never be successful. It's because you're going out here watching everyone else, copying down their notes, regurgitating what they're saying. But here's the thing, that content didn't change you, and you expect it to change them. You want to change them, change you first. When you change you first, it produces content that will change lives. So when you have character, character produces change on the inside. Change on the inside is going to produce content. That content is going to produce change out there. Your content, because it started with you, now produces change with your tribe. When you change your tribe, when you have content that changes the people who consumes your content, what happens? They now become in your community.
If you can hit 70% at 1 minute, people will watch the rest of it. They'll stick with you. People have a short attention span, yes, for the first minute. If you hook them, they'll keep watching. Most people in my category, thought leadership, entrepreneurship, education, they'll start a videos like, hey guys, welcome back, it's me, Evan. Wow, happy, what day is today? Wednesday, Thursday, I don't even know, Tuesday. Welcome back to my channel. Like, welcome back, who are you? Like, you want to be targeting people who don't know who you are yet, right? So when you say welcome back, I don't know who you're talking to. You have to lead with a hook. You lead with a powerful opinion. Make me want to watch past the 70% mark.
I have always come to believe that getting a high ticket sale on the back of social media is very, very, very small. What I'm trying to do on social media is to get the engagement and build the conversations and point them to some sort of long-form piece of content that they can consume to get to know and trust the business offer more. This is what works for my business. Yours might look a little bit different, but I want you to follow this sequence in a very specific way. This was a very short, less than 30 seconds invitation to a free class.
Feeling like a used car salesman? No one likes to be sold to, so you're probably scared of coming across as spammy or sleazy yourself. But don't worry, I'm here to help you change that. Join my free class, What I Learned Selling 7 Figures on Instagram, to make sales on social media.
So this was one of the highest performing reels for this promotion. I will put out reels organically to see what works best and then put money behind it to serve as an ad. This was absolutely ridiculous. I dressed in my husband's suit. We had a green screen. We just put a background as a filter, and that was what ended up being produced. That does not come natural to me, but I let the market dictate the content.
There are influencers that have 30 or 40,000 followers that I pay more than influencers with 2 million followers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Why? Because the influencer with 2 million followers might just be a buff guy or a beautiful girl or has got famous for something that happened on TV or a reality show. But the person with 40,000 followers really loves welding cars or really loves tires or loves shoes or likes fashion, and they do that one thing, and their following cares about that one thing. They're going to convert way better to 41,000 followers than the person with 2 million from a reality show. Mm-hmm. You still want both as a brand, right? I still want to get more eyeballs over here because millions of people are now going to see my product or brand or service. But this person with 41,000 followers, she's going to convert like crazy. And so when I'm coming up with pricing, you have to think about what is it worth to the brand to not do this once. One-off posts do not work. No. Ever. Ever. When I mean ever, I mean ever. If a brand comes to us and asks for a one-off post, I won't take it because it's not going to work for them and I'm not going to get to keep them as a client. My clients today are the same clients I had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, and I have no long-term contracts. I don't even have one-year contracts. Everybody stays with me because it just works, and I make sure that as we're choosing the influencers, we paid 3,500 influencers this year. Every single influencer that we W9, when we talk to them, we're explaining to them when they ask me for a price, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, I don't negotiate with terrorists. So here's the biggest trick. I don't ask them their price. Oftentimes they try to tell it to me. I tell them their price. And so if you have a brand, product, or service, and you want to have an influencer, if you say how much for a post, I promise you they're going to make up a really big number. And so instead, I offer them something that's fair and say, I'll pay you $600. But I'm going to buy 3 posts, and I'll do a package deal. If I could do $1,500 for 3 posts, it'd be $500 each, and I'll throw in some $400 worth of my products or services. And then from there, we can have an open discussion. If I ask them what their price is, They're going to say $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, right? They just make up a number.
Yeah.
And so for you guys, as you're thinking about it, whether you're an influencer or you're a brand, product, or service, you need to come up with a number that's realistic for someone to do at least 3 posts about that brand, product, or service.
Here's what we do, okay? First thing we're gonna do is create a reel with a call to action to DM. This is a video. I don't know if it's gonna actually play or not. Oh, here we go. Do we have volume on it? And we put these in a lot of our luxury flips because they make a great impression. The only problem is they cost anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000. And if you're gonna add a door like that, then you probably also wanna add glass like this for an office. This could run you another $3,000 to $5,000 just for the glass. But those things are necessary when you're trying to flip a luxury home like this for $1.8 million. Now, it's a pretty high price tag for here in Las Vegas, but the cool part is I paid $875,000 to buy this home. And so this house could make over $500,000 if we get our asking price. Now, if you're watching this, you probably think that there's no way you could flip a house like this, but it's not true. When I got started, I didn't have money, I didn't have construction experience, I didn't know how to find deals. But my team can teach you how to do all of those things. So if you want to learn more about how you can start flipping houses today, DM me the word flip. I'll send you a short video showing how we can help you out and get started. Boom. That's the ad. So yeah, give me a clap, all right? So I say that's the ad, but that's the content, right? I call them ads, but you know, there's a lot that goes into why that's effective and why people actually DM me, right? Okay? You're gonna take a lot of the same principles with just making your normal Reels and TikToks. First off, you gotta have a good hook in the beginning, right? I don't even remember what the hook was. Actually, I was walking up to a big like door, right? And it's like, whoa, that door's huge. What's he talking about here? Then the next thing is value. I'm providing value. I'm like, hey, this door cost me $5,000 to $10,000. This other door, like I'm giving them some kind of value. And each reel I do is always that same framework. Hook, value. You just think it's a TikTok. Like you're watching it. You don't even know you're watching an ad. And that's the secret, right? Don't make it like an ad off the bat. Like, hey, buy my stuff. That doesn't work. You have to do content disguised as an ad, okay? Then from there, you just keep doing it, you're doing it, right? And then I go to the close where it's like, hey, guess what? If you want to do this too, you can actually do it, right? We do some just kind of rebuttals of like, hey, you know, I know you're probably thinking you can't get started. I was just like that. You know, if you want to learn how I got through it and how other students have, DM me this keyword, okay? And that's it. You make a bunch of reels, a bunch of TikToks just like that, and you know, that's step one, okay? I have so many of these I've created, probably like 50 to them, and I literally just run the same ones over and over again, okay? Like I'll show it again like a couple weeks later, the same exact one. You know, this video alone, I think the first time we ran it got like 100,000 views. You know, to get 100,000 views for free, organically, you know, think about how much revenue that video made. Like, I don't have the stats, but I would guess it probably made us at least 20 to 50 grand if we got a couple of students who signed up from it, you know? That took me 5 minutes to make.
Create videos around search-friendly topics. Every person uses the search engine, okay? And YouTube is owned by Google. It has the best SEO ever amongst all the different platforms that exist. Now, the reason why someone will use a search engine is for two things. They want to solve a problem, or they want to be entertained. Now, for me at the time, I'm not very funny, so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to solve people's problems, and I'll figure out how to entertain them later. And so that's what I did. And what you have to realize is that that person who's searching for something in the search engine, they have a point A and a point B. They have a pain point that they want to solve, and they have a desired result that they want to achieve. And your content is what's going to bridge that gap. And so when I think about content ideas, this is what I think about. I think about what are the questions, problems, limiting beliefs, or objections that this person might be going through. And then I brain dump a list of problems, issues, and questions. Then, for each question, problem, limiting belief, objection, whatever it is, I'll then map out at least 3 video topic ideas for each one. So for example, if one of the problems that you guys are going through, one of the objections that's preventing you from starting your YouTube channel is, I don't want to start a YouTube channel because I'm afraid of being on camera. Then I'll think about, okay, 3 video ideas. Number 1, how to grow a YouTube channel without showing your face. That might help this person. Video idea number 2, how to get confident being on camera in 30 days or less. That might help that person. Third video idea, why you're afraid of putting yourself out there on social media and 3 ways to overcome it. That might help this person. And so I go down the rabbit hole of different topics that I might want to create content for based on the questions and problems they might be searching for on YouTube or Google. Now, if you need help with this and you're not sure about what people are asking on the internet, here are my favorite free platforms. I go on forums and comment sections. I go into Reddit and I look at the topics and I look at what questions people are asking about. I go on Quora. I go on Facebook groups, really niche Facebook groups, and I see what people are asking questions on. And one of my most favorite things is going into my competitors' comment sections and seeing what their subscribers are asking as a follow-up to watching their video. Because that tells me, that's an opportunity for me to tap into that market and to tap into that gap. Because clearly there's a demand, and that creator didn't necessarily cover that yet in their video.
Hey, I love this lead into TikTok. There's a lot of people in the room. They're at a place where there are a lot of people doing really well. I mean, some people starting out, and you always say, if you don't got money, but you got time, you got to put the sweat equity in. But there's people in the room, they have money, and I'd like to hear about Team Gary Vee. And a lot of people think, okay, to do this, because you say, I went on TikTok, but part of the way you're doing that is because people are multiplying your content, you're casting vision. Can you speak into maybe, Team Gary Vee is pretty advanced now.
Yes.
Can we start a little bit at the beginning as you think about those that would say, what about my first hires? How do I even do this? I'm great at real estate or financial services, but okay, how do I start, where do I get my D-Rock? Where do I get the whole thing? Speak to early stages of building that team to help you grow with video.
You need to hire people that do things that you don't want to do.
Where do you find them?
The internet. People say things that drive me crazy because they don't want to do it. As if you can't find it. Are you telling me you're at this conference and you can't find people? You don't know what Fiverr is, you don't know how to post on LinkedIn, you don't know how to search terms on Twitter. People come up with excuses. A lot of people don't grow because they want money to buy things. A lot of people's businesses don't grow because they want the business to give them money so they can get a Corvette or a second. This is back to you've got to find the thing you like. Because if you're building a brand or your thing to buy the yacht, you're not going to build a very big thing. I'm just building the thing to build the thing. It's more interesting for me to build the thing than it is. It's like this. Some people love. Actually, here's a great comp. This blew my mind. One of the most stunning things that happened to me in my life. My whole life, I've wanted to be a professional athlete, right? So by 5th grade, I was like, fuck, I don't think I can play for the Jets. These kids have gotten much bigger and stronger. In fact, I had such good hand-eye coordination that I was fucking killing people in 1st and 2nd and 3rd grade. But somewhere around 5th grade, I'm like, why is everyone twice my size now? And so I was like, this might not be in the cards, and that's when I decided to buy the Jets. But I was like, fuck it. If I can't play for it, I'll just own the whole fucking thing. So now me and AJ get into the sports business, and we have a big practice now. And when I realized that a lot of kids play professional sports, but they don't love the game, it was just their best way to monetize, that blew my mind. And I mean, really don't like it. And even when we recruit kids now, I never want to recruit a kid that doesn't love the game. Because I don't think they're going to be at the, because we make our money on the 2nd and 3rd contract. There's kids that sign that 1st contract, and it's a wrap. You want to know why people are out of the league in 3-4 years? Because they didn't give a fuck about the game. So for me, this thing that we're talking about, I don't want the things that come from being the best entrepreneur in the world. I just want to be the best entrepreneur in the world. So it goes to do you love it? Because if you don't, you can't get there. And so a lot of people don't have a D-Rock or a team because they don't want to spend the $53,000 on it because they want a Birka bag and they want to go to Tahiti and they want a fucking Lambo. You're taking the money out of your business for your insecurities instead of feeding the business to win the fucking game. People want to look successful more than actually be successful. Back to why I make so much content about self-esteem. The reason I focus on love and being kind to yourself and the shit that I've been talking about is that's the seed of the whole game. If you need Lambos and chains and accolades and check marks and 1 million followers to clog the holes that you have in your soul, then you're gonna not be able to build meaningful things because you're taken out of your business instead of feeding it.
So we've covered over 20 tips so far, over an hour's worth of content. And we still actually have one more tip to give you in just a moment. But I'm sure that your head is spinning because you've just gotten so much information from some of the best minds in the online space. And again, we are just scratching the surface of what's available for you on the other side of clicking the button below.
Yeah, you know, we wanted to get this series in your hands so you could get some information you can take action on and start getting results. But you might be the type of person who really likes to go deep and understands the power of repetition. Not only relearning and re-listening to this information, but also getting access to everything. Again, we wanted to give you this free gift of 21 video tips, but during the 3-day event where we recorded the Video Success Secrets course, we go a lot deeper than this. And actually in this program, you have 34 sessions. You've got bonus VIP Q&A sessions with people like Pat Flynn and Vanessa Lau and Jasmine Starr and Alex and Layla Hermosi, where they're sharing nuanced details about how they've blown up their businesses with video, about how they've gone viral, about how they've grown from 0 to 100,000 subscribers in less than a year, all of this information. And we wanted to make that available simply if you're interested. And we call it the Video Success Secrets course. And if you click the button, it takes you over to a page where you can get more information about it. And we want to give it to you for lifetime access. Because the truth is, we've learned you really got to pace yourself when you're learning new skills. When you're studying this kind of information, we listen to it over and over again. We apply it to our channels and our businesses, and then we keep listening because it's a lot of strategies. I'd say this is like a year-long curriculum. It's not going to take you that long to listen to it, but you're applying it week after week, month after month, literally getting this accelerator. It's like the playbook of today's best video marketers and entrepreneurs, just spilling everything. And it's all in one place. So if you want to check it out, again, the button will take you over to a page. You may have some questions about exactly what you're getting. Just click the link and it'll take you over to see all the information.
Yeah, and you know, Sean, people paid over $5,000 and they told us that they would have paid more for this quality information in one place, helping you learn how to grow your personal brand, how to get more customers, how to figure out how to crack the code so that you can be making income online. And so we want to encourage you to go over and click that button so that you can get the best and the latest content that's going to help you grow this year and beyond.
Yeah, and Heather, it's true. We actually got so much feedback from the people that were in the room at our event that they would have paid more than even the $5,000 that they invested for the Platinum Day that you get included in these recordings.
Yeah.
And this isn't some just fancy marketing name. Like, this was like a real deal, hardcore video marketing, online business building day. And we've made the price super affordable so that you can take this, not only get access to the information, but also you can enjoy it on your smartphone, a computer, a tablet, and you have lifetime access so you can actually go through this course at your own pace. So hey, we have a whole nother tip to get into, but I really want to encourage you, check out the information about this. There's a little chat bubble on the page. If you have any information, reach out to our team. We're a real company. We got a real customer support staff. We're here to serve you. We really just want to help you win. If this isn't right for you, literally no big deal, but I think this is one of the best investments you can make in yourself and in your business this year, especially at the price that we've put this at, so that you can start getting video success with these secrets. So click the link and check it out. And then let's jump into the final of the 21 tips.
But let me just give you the last one, is use power words in your titles and your social media captions. If you're gonna hook attention, use power words. And because we're on a schedule, I'll crush this for you in about 2 minutes, but here's just a couple power words. Warning, use that one. That's a good one. Warning, this software will give you an unfair advantage on YouTube. It's a pretty good title. Like, one of the greatest skills you can really begin to study is the art of copywriting, writing persuasive advertising copy, which would be like studying headlines and ultimately stopping and getting attention. Here's a weird strategy I learned from toothpaste. New. This is a great power word. And here's why I learned it, because I was like, wait a minute. Is the toothpaste really new? Like, how much has toothpaste really changed in the last few years? You know? How about in the last 20 years? Like, notice this one, new technology. The audacity of Colgate to just new technology? Like, what are you talking? This is toothpaste. But it's true. Using the word new, there's Pat Flynn, using the word new YouTube growth strategies. And here's a cool way that you might say, well, but what if it's not new? Here's how it can be ethically new. One thing is that you're always looking for, I knew that Pat had a bunch of new things that I hadn't heard, and I interviewed him on my show. So new YouTube growth strategies, when everyone's like, man, everyone's saying the same thing, gets people to stop the scroll. New YouTube strategies for 2022. Another thing you need to be doing is just study some of the latest news in your industry. Just look up Google News, look up some stats. Now you have something new, and then listen to this. Something is always new to somebody else. For the one troll whose name is Minecraft62, and he's 15 on your channel, on your business channel, and I don't know why you care about what he's saying, and he goes, oh, that wasn't new, I knew that. You're not making your content for Minecraft63. You're making your content for someone who's just discovering you for the first time. So it really is actually always new. And we learned it from toothpaste. So is it clickbait? No. Like, ultimately, it's a way to get attention. And all that they did is they're like, we added zinc into the toothpaste. It's new. Did it even need zinc? No. Zinc actually doesn't help at all. You know what I mean? But they changed the formula like 1%. It's new. You know, and so new could be very, very powerful. And so here's a couple power words: easy, best, new, free. These are great ways these are videos that really succeeded and have done well for us using power words, because again, we've got to get attention. A couple of my favorite books, and I have a whole collection of books that are kind of like this, but words that sell, phrases that sell. Friends, you are a communicator. You are someone who is ethically persuading individuals towards something good. So you have to begin to get attention, because I know you want to help them. You want to solve problems. Your business solves problems. Your content will serve them. And so knowing how to influence and persuade is super powerful.